The second responsibility of a woman is to protect the right development of life. You've brought a beautiful baby into a world with nice trees, fish in the sea, beautiful birds in the air. Are you creating the conditions which can sustain the life of these life forms? For example, if your schools or in your television programs, are you working for life? I received a letter which said, "We are against violence in the movies." That is good, but what are you really doing to stop these things? Instead, we cut each other's throats or teach ways to destroy one another. What are we teaching our children so that they will support and protect life? In what way are they going to protect this life and make this life grow to become a blooming flower, a great radioactive beauty? Not only are women going to protect life, but they are also going to prepare the conditions in which these lives are able to grow. So I'm going to stop there for a moment, and this just goes off a lot of what I was saying about a lot what Valerie has done and myself. But as far as her being a mom, and when she got the call, she did what she needed to do, even though it was torturous for her in a lot of ways. But she made a lot of sacrifices to create safe spaces and protect the development for others, and those were a lot of her intentions. And they're my intentions as well, along with both of our twins' intentions as well too, because like I said, there was a calling that happened with a lot of us, and the more we talk about these things and bring them into awareness in a healthy way, the more that energy is going to raise throughout Earth and create that radioactive beauty, as this book says. But when you get tapped into your soul and your purpose, and your third eye opens, and all the things happen to you spiritually, and you get your kundalini rising, and all of the things that are meant for you to experience on your spiritual journey. And it's not all the same for everyone. A lot of them can sound the same, but there's just always a different signature, a different baseline, and a different feeling for everyone's journey. And that includes twin flames. We all, even though we're share the same soul with another individual, and sometimes just ourselves, our twins have a separate journey, and that's why it's almost like you're having a journey with 4 people sometimes when you're just 2 people. But I was tapped into me, myself, my higher self, my soul. Felt like I was getting a current version of my twin, but I felt like I was, having most of my experience with the higher version of my twin in the beginning, and I was like, why isn't my twin understanding? And now some of the things that I've done recently, I'm sure my twin's like, I don't understand why you're, not getting this or that. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm just kind of over a lot of it, really. felt like I'm running from it, and just I'm so burnt out at this point, and I'm just yeah. So like the journey, the individual journeys are over, and so that's where I'm at with it. Um, but overall, I know that through all that, there was definitely a lot of conditions um, created from those situations, and I have seen those after I got out of college. Um, I was able to have more and cut cords as well, so I was able to um, form something else out of that situation as far as the career and professional development goes for myself. And that's still growing, but it's like already there, but there's just those finishing touches um, that are going to elevate it. But a lot of what I did on the quantum um, field was I set a lot of conditions, and I did that with my thoughts, and thought energy was almost just as exhausting as physical energy, working in a regular job with very manual labor, which is a lot of the work I've done throughout my life. But when I took all that out and I focused everything in my thought energy, I definitely prepared a lot of, my ears ringing, angels are talking, definitely prepared a lot of conditions and good things for people. And I just say I'm pretty excited as a woman to know that even though I have not bared children, that I still brought life. I've still brought life into this world in some way, still planted seeds, and that I have had a lot of opportunities and experiences um, that is prepared the future for the next lives, that are going to, and souls that are going to be attracted to the pathway that I've made. And so that is a very beautiful thing when it comes to self-developing. And I didn't have a lot of mentors with that. I think a lot of that just has to do with me just coming into this world already knowing a lot of things. A lot of people didn't get in my way. There was some criticism, and it wasn't all constructive whenever it did happen, and I would get in my feels about it because I'm like, you don't see what I'm doing. And because I was always doing stuff in the spirit, but I didn't realize how much of it I was actually doing in the spirit, and what kind of soul contracts I was tied to, that I just didn't know any of that. So when I would get those constructive and non-constructive criticism sit downs with someone, I wasn't very open-minded to them, which I didn't like being that way because I'm usually a very open-minded individual. But I think it was just because it was higher leadership I had that I couldn't see their light in a lot of things, and a lot of them went off of, like, in their mind, I can tell that they only cared about the rank on their chest, and that bothered me. And it didn't matter what situation I've been in life. It's just I can just tell when someone has their main drive is just being in the title or the position, and they just expect it all to just kind of come in. And, you know, that's great when that does happen for certain people. I mean, it's happened for me recently, and, you know, and I'm grateful for all of it, even though it's confusing to go through it all and just kind of pick up the hints of some of it, because some of it's just, like, usually I'm pretty good at finding the hidden opportunities, but sometimes it's just really hard, and I don't know if it's because my brain was going, I mean, I was learning things like fast, and so I feel like I'm just not, for some reason, I was just so used to that chaos, which in the military, we're trained to work well in chaos, but I don't know why it just feels different this time, and I don't know why, it's just, I feel like I'm still having to work a little bit too hard at this point, and, suggestive, opportunities aren't really making a lot of sense, and, which is one other reason why I'm just so ready just to have reunion, with my twin, just because I just need that. Yeah, I don't know. Just the conversations and just trying to figure all this out, because it still feels like it's all over the place, but I know that it's good, and that conditions are set, and it's an amazing business and pathway that we have built, but it's just the finishing touches that aren't quite, I'm not able to do those, by myself, and it's the, getting the compensation for that stuff as well. It's just feels like, I don't know, I try not to focus on it too much, and it wasn't really a big reason why I do what I do, because I know that everything comes back and multiplied when you do God's work, and you genuinely do it out of the kindness of your heart, and they're in a creative, and a healthy creative, not malicious creative, but a healthy creative way. I know it all comes back, tenfold. So, yeah, some of you might, experience some of this, on your journey, depending on what you want to do, but I just, again, want to say that eventually I'm going to get it all, it's all going to get buffed out, and, my twin and I are going to get this going, but it's still, just know that, this is my signal sending out, saying, the pathway's already been made, for anyone maybe interested or finds their way, somewhere resonating, with my path, and or some of the things that I'm involved with, and your soul, will hit a frequency and maybe come in, here and whatever, but by then everything's going to be pretty much worked out. So if you find yourself here and you're wondering, don't be afraid to ask questions, in the comments section of this video. If you're resonating with anything that I've said throughout any of my videos, but yeah, just don't hesitate to reach out and ask. So I'm going to give the book's example. So, for example, you purchase a nice tree for your garden. It is really healthy and beautiful, but do you have a nice garden with good soil, a nice place that the sun touches? Do you have water, fertilizer, and everything needed so that the life of the tree will be sustained and continued? This is why when we are talking about mothers, we are talking about responsibility. If the child is good, if he is creative, it is because his mother kept her eye on him, not in a way that she was obsessing or possessing him, but in a way that she was inspiring and leading him into creative direction in his early years. So that's the end of that one. I'm still just finding this so ironic that Valerie's mentioned, something about this letter to her kids, this, the creativity. And I remember her telling me that she brings that up a lot, how she just wanted her kids to have, she wanted them to know what imagination is, and having an imagination, and being creative, and just doing fun things, and it doesn't matter, what it was. She just always wanted to, it was like shoveling dirt or something. I don't remember all the things. She would try to make those moments happen as much as she could, even dealing with the health issues that she had. And there are some mothers out there that were, in way more, in worse conditions than she was. But I can't really speak for those women. But I know myself as well. I looked at my soldiers as, in a way, kind of like my children in some ways, but not like as if they are children. But when it came to me having compassion for their learning and development, I did look at them kind of childlike, but not in a I'm better than you because you don't know what you're doing. Because my soldiers also taught me a few things that I'm grateful for. One of them taught me even how to, stand up, for my name, and stand up for myself. And, I felt like that's very, and it took me back, but, I was like, dang, okay, yeah, you're right. And, it was because they were leading by example. And so, it wasn't ever about the rank. It was always just about leading by example. And, unfortunately, the narcissists that some of us were surrounded by didn't care too much about that, and it would frustrate me as an NCO, because I'd go to bat for my soldiers quite a bit. And but some of them were ones that had a sketchy past or something. But the people that I've met throughout life, the ones that are not as polished, and they don't look like the best type of person you want to have in a leadership position. that is something that I don't agree with, because I do have faith in a lot of people's process, and I do know that when I send my thoughts that I'm like, they can do this, and I tell them they can do it, and then they go and do it. And sometimes I don't have to. I just have to provide the opportunity for them to do it, and they'll go and do it, and I don't have to worry, or not worry, but I don't have to have any concern or have any anxiety about what they're doing, because I have faith in my leadership abilities and being able to scout out leaders and ones that have light inside them. And everyone has it, but there's some that just have more, and it's the ones that go through the thick of it and their life looks like it is a mess, but what society makes everyone think, and what politics makes everyone think, which is a lot of it's very narcissistic, spirit like, is you have to look a certain way on the outside to you know be in the spotlight and the limelight. And I'm like, no, you don't. I mean, like, have you seen some of the actors and actresses? I mean, they do great work. Some are a little crazy and kooky, and that's great, because that's most people that are very creative and geniuses. We all got like this weird kookiness about us that the rest of the world doesn't like, but it still blows my mind. So, like, you still watch movies. These people still watch movies, but when it comes to actually meeting a person like that in the flesh and not in the movies, their brain can't handle it, and it's like it short circuits, and then they start pushing and projecting, and it's like just blows my mind. But people have to live and learn, and but I just noticed that there's just a lot of people that are the one you just have to, people that are going through a lot, that have been through a lot, those are the ones that make the best leaders, is the ones that look like they're really trying to keep their life together. And there's some people who do a really good job, and some of it has to do a lot with personality types. I'm going to say that as well. And a lot of people don't even know what their personality type is, but that can change every 6 months. It really just depends. So that's another thing I'm trying to bring in more awareness of, is just it pays a lot to know your baseline when it comes to your personality, your leadership, style, and all those things, so you know where to evolve, because those things are going to become more common going forward in the future. It's like you're going to have to know yourself very well, just because of a lot of the space exploration, and like I was talking about, the quantum computing, and people's brains coming more online and more in sync with the electromagnetic field, even though everyone's already on it. But it's like there's just things are going to start popping off like that, and it know thyself is going to be more important than anything, as far as self-development. So those are things that I've worked on with my twin, and Valerie's worked on with hers. It's just we've created those conditions and those pathways for a successful future, even though some of us got ripped from whatever reality we're in. But some of it, I'm not really complaining about that. It's just some of it just felt like it was a lot, but I know that it's all paying off. And so a lot of you out there are going to have those feelings of, is it working? Am I doing it right? Am I are Are my opportunities being met? Am I meeting my opportunities? Am I finding my opportunities? Am I supposed to be leading in this field? Just there's going to be some self-doubt. And so I just tell you, as long as your intentions are good and you lead with your heart and you have a genuine desire to build and create something beautiful in this life for someone to enjoy, and you don't do it underhandedly and be careful about where you take money from people and who's giving you the money. Be careful with that. There were a lot of opportunities for me to get money from people throughout this because I was in that divine feminine energy through my process, and I'm still in that receiving mode very much because I did the work, but there were still people trying to manipulate my divinity, and that is what ticked me off the most. I'll say that there's a lot of things that ticked me off the most, but that one was just that the manipulation and disrespecting someone's divinity really showed me that there were even some of my own spirit guides that dropped the ball when it came to developing in the spirit, and even people that were, supposed to make sure that I was doing good because of, my destiny and stuff like that. And, I have my own responsibilities to that, but when some of your spirit guides drop the ball, and sometimes those are physical bodies, and sometimes those are just spirits. And even I'll say a couple of my ancestors in there that were non-religious or they didn't get saved before they passed, but I still felt their energies, which they were pretty dark. But even the leadership in the spirit and them having a better view of some things, I was just like really upset that some of the things that happened because of manipulation. And that's when I realized that there's a big need for bringing more awareness to the spirit, because they're just up there roaming around, not really caring, because they don't have to do what we do, but I felt like I was leading not just a collective in the 3D, but also in the 5D, and I had to go in and retrain my spirits, my spirit guides, and some other people's as well. And I've always kind of done that, but I guess I just didn't have the vernacular to explain it. But it made a lot of sense when my life felt like it was a doggone mess, because my spirits are all out of sorts, and it I didn't get that because I was like always been that leader, so I guess I just didn't understand. And maybe there's a point where I outgrew my own spirit guides and I just needed more advanced ones, but for some reason it was being blocked by some other things in my life. So that's another reason why cord cutting is really important. But yeah, just know that if you have those doubts, there are going to be days when you have to really reflect on the progress you've made. and you're gonna feel like you're a hot mess. And don't get in your head about it. Just keep on going. That's all I gotta say. Um, keep on developing. And then when you need, to stop, know when you need to stop. And that's okay. Like, you don't have to keep, you'll drive yourself crazy or crazier or whatever if you keep on pushing yourself. And I'll tell you, in the last couple months, I've had things come up where I was a little skeptical about them. But it was just because I was still trying to get out of this weird. I was kind of in between two timelines, and it felt like more than that, but I was shifting out of a lot of old timelines. Like I was exiting a matrix, and even though I felt like I've done that many times, and then, come to realization of like how deep that really is. And I'm like, even though I wasn't involved with it, because I haven't really ever followed the programming of society. It just hasn't been a thing for me, really. And even in the things I was involved in, it didn't hurt to leave those things. It was just like, okay. But I didn't cord cut, and that was where I made the mistakes, and try to do the out of sight, out of mind stuff, because it was still following me somehow. And being an empath, it just happens. But I was like, I'm clearing what I can, and for some reason I was just having a difficult time with that. But recently, you're still going to have challenges. Like, those won't go away, unfortunately. But you'll start recognizing more the patterns, like the loops of awareness, and what you're involved with. And I've cut off so much just so I can bring in my twin, because I'm like, I don't know how much more I gotta cut off, because I've cut as much as I can just so I can barely make it by right now with what I have, because that's how much I care about the reunion. Like, that is how much I care about it. Because I've always been pretty good with myself, and so just the distance, sometimes I'm picking up on something else, and it's like, it's just the longer I wait, I just feel like that just keeps happening, and I don't like that, and I don't even try to think about it. But there's gonna still be challenges like that, throughout your, development, especially if you're the type that's, trying to create safe spaces and conditions for others. And that seems to always be the hardest part about, the ones that go on, that are specifically in that journey. Like, even though all these things kind of all have a culmination, of them, they all like flow. But one of my missions was the creating the conditions, and it's for some reason that one just seems to be a tough one, because the narcissistic spirit, does not like that, or the sociopath, psychopath, all the other, you know, dark entities. They just don't like change, and that's why they become so dark. Is because when you sit, it's like Scrooge. He didn't want to, he was just dark and in his thing, and then he was shown certain things, to look over a situation, and then he gained his enlightenment looking over the situation. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people, that are Scrooges, that are looking over our situations, that shouldn't be looking over our situations. And that is something that's also changing within the collective of energies, is that, those types of people have been weeded out. And some of the things I exposed, weeded out quite a few individuals that, they didn't need to be in the positions they were in. And due to the things that they were doing behind the scenes to purposely create harm, not just in my life, but in a couple other people's lives that I noticed. And I sent the signal, and people didn't like that too much. But I'm not here to be anybody's favorite or whatever you want to call it. I'm just here to do what I need to do and cleanse my soul as much as I can and develop as much as I can in a healthy way. And that's what I'm here to do, and to just make a difference in this world, and letting other people know that they are, just by existing, creating a difference in this world. So yeah, just know that. And again, if you have questions, just reach out and ask. And I need to think of a better way for more private questions to come through, because I don't want you all to have to put your comments all out there in the business. I mean, unless you just want to, but there's also a very sacred and private way to share, and there's some things I a little bit overshare my comments, but a lot of it I don't do it like I used to. So yeah, I have to work on that part. But yeah, just so you know, I'm here for you. And we'll move over to the next one.